Hello, my name is Gemini Wild, and welcome to the Feel Good Project. And today we're talking about safety, stability, and security. And I see this conversation come up again and again around feeling good in our lives right now. A lot of times, the reason that we don't feel good is because we don't feel safe, we don't feel secure, we don't feel stable. And this has to do with dealing with the uncertainty of life and also this misconception we have about where safety comes from. We think safety, security, and stability comes from the external world, from our job, from our money, from our partner, from our friendships, from our community. And although those can give us sensations of safety, security, and stability, it's not actually where it comes from. And if we place our sense of safety, security, and stability outside of ourselves, then we are always dependent on something outside of ourselves to keep us afloat, right? Wayne Dyer says if you are looking for something outside of yourself to pick you up, then anything outside of yourself can drag you down. And so it really is about tuning into the internal architecture of our own energetic structures. So safety is on a spectrum with unsafety. Security is on a spectrum with insecurity, and stability is on a spectrum with feeling unstable. And just to define these so that we're speaking the same dialogue, safety as having a deep seated sense of well being, feeling a sense of well being in our own selves, in our own skin. Security is assurance that all is well, and stability is experiencing steadiness and reliability in our personal lives and the broader environment. Knowing that life will catch us, knowing that our higher power has got us, knowing that we are on our own path and it makes sense for us. When survival is the driver, like we're just trying to survive, we're just trying to get through the bare minimum, just trying to make it through the day, safety, security, and stability can become a little bit of an obsession. And it can be sneaky, just kind of running in the background, running in the subconscious part of our minds, how we make decisions. So, an example of that might be staying in a job that you really don't like because it pays the bills, because you get money from it. And although money is a very important mm, feature in our lives, it's not the only decision maker, and it's not the only it doesn't have to be the only driver in our experience. Over and over and over again, I see people who make decisions from the I need money place and end up living lives that feel very hollow and unfulfilled. And then they just kind of feel trapped or stuck in this like golden handcuff type situation where I'm getting money, but I'm not actually fulfilled. So I'm not on a soul level or like a deeply meaningful level getting what I need. On the surface, it looks like everything is okay. It looks like my life is successful. It looks like everything is working, right? The bills are paid, the lights are on, there's food, but I don't feel alive. I don't feel alive in my life. And this will often keep us from making decisions that would lead us to that sensation of lasting fulfillment. And one of the biggest pieces this comes down to is our ability to navigate the unknown. And I think that we have a misunderstanding about the role that the unknown plays in our lives. We come by this very innocently, right? If you think about, um, all the times we've been disappointed, all the times we've been hurt, all the times we thought something was going to go a certain way and then it didn't, it can tend to chip away at our faith, at our trust, at our belief in ourselves, right? And so there's an innocence to this. It's like if we're moving through the world and an unknown occurs that causes us pain, we amplify that, right? Like the brain scans that and is like, okay, I am never going to let that happen again. So I'll put up this armor and this armor and this armor, all of these protective measures to make sure that we don't experience that kind of suffering again. And again, there is an innocent quality to that, and it makes our lives smaller. Our radiance diminishes, and we just become smaller in our expression, smaller in our lives. We take less risks, and our lives look less and less like we want them to. So I think this topic is so important in general, but specifically in the context of feeling good in our lives. Being able to have an intimate relationship with uncertainty, with the unknown in our world is liberating. And the way that this works for me is in Native American tradition, the name for one of the names for spirit, right? Maybe you have heard Great Spirit. They also call it Great Mystery. Great Mystery. So anytime there is an unknown in your life, my invitation for you is to replace that with Great Mystery, capital G, capital M. Like there is something behind the scenes working in our lives that is for us. And then the other piece that goes along with this is taking on, like adopting the posture that any suffering that comes into our experience is for us. It's calling us into greatness. It's calling us into a more vibrant expression of ourselves. And we have a choice whether or not we participate in that. And when we have this information, safety, security, and stability are something that I orient inside. Suffering is always for me. It's a call to greatness so that I can be a better version of myself. Life gives me what I need to grow, not necessarily what I want, not all the time what I ask for, but what I need to grow. And uncertainty is divinity moving in my life. Then we can start to work with these components from a completely different lens and making decisions from a place of resonance and alignment so that we feel in harmony. So what this might look like is taking this example of, working at a job that you hate because it gives you money, but you feel unfulfilled. What that might look like is quitting that job or, finding a different job that maybe uh, seems scary, but also has a feeling of freedom to it. Like taking the risks we feel called to, remembering that it is our life that we are trading, right? So if we are day in, day out doing something that we don't want to do because we're afraid of feeling unsafe, we're already losing. So may as well do what we want and find out what happens and adjust along the way. And then parallel to that, with your external decision making, is really working on your inner world, your minds, your emotions, what is happening inside your body on a moment by moment basis, and deepening that relationship. Because at the end of the day, we're safe in our own skin when we are welcoming all of our experience. We feel stable and secure in ourselves when we know it doesn't matter what comes, I can handle anything. I am capable. I will figure it out. I have the ability to be resourceful. I can choose what I participate in. I can choose what I feed my mind. I can choose how I navigate my relationships. And then we actually get to be in the driver's seat of our life, learning how to self-soothe, right? So, like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. Practices, breathing, grounding, getting our feet in the earth that call us back to the moment. The majority of the time, like 99.9% of the time in our lives, if we can get grounded in the moment, there's no threat. There's nothing actually wrong. The fear is all here, right? And it's way out in the future based on something that happened probably a long time ago. So we want to bring all of our energy in the center. Okay, I hope that this was useful for you, and I am wishing you safety, security, stability, and braveness in all areas of your life so that you feel the way that you want to feel. XOXO, big heart. I'll see you in the next video.